I'm Ross Johnson. I'm the founder of an agency called 37, which I founded in 2005, and we help B2B technology companies succeed and grow through marketing systems. A lot of founders, especially entrepreneurs who want to move fast and they start working with a marketing consultant or an agency, or maybe they even hire somebody in-house. And the first thing that those people want to do is strategy. Um, I think a lot of times what they hear is let's slow down, and that's not something that they want to do. And I understand because I think there's a lot of times where as marketers we can get so excited about like the discovery and the strategy that we can take a really long as much time as we are given to deliver these things. Where some agencies they might specialize in like one narrow piece of a marketing strategy, like positioning, for example, and they could spend 6 months doing research, talking to customers, diving into competitors, that sort of thing, producing these very long strategy decks, hundreds of pages maybe, that nobody ends up reading because it's just too much, especially not the entrepreneurs and founders. Really, what they want is speed. Like they want to start seeing results. They want to move fast. That's part of their personality. That's how they ended up being founders and entrepreneurs. Now, the problem is strategy is critical. If you don't head in the right direction and have the right pieces in place, it doesn't matter how much marketing you do, it's not going to be successful. Marketing is a system. There's like various different components and they all work together. And it's kind of like one of those things where you're only as strong as your weakest component. And it's so easy to overlook some of these components. Sometimes you just assume you know when you don't actually know, especially a founder who's, can't see the forest from the trees. They're so close to it. They need some outside perspective, or they just don't realize how important it is. The things that we think are absolutely essential are your audience. You have to know your ICP. From there, you need to figure out what your positioning is, like what makes you different and what makes you different in a way that is relevant to your ICP, your buyers. And then once you find your positioning, you really need to understand like what your messaging is. We know what makes us different. How do we articulate this in a way that they understand, that they resonate with, and we can do so kind of frequently. We can kind of reinforce the same message in different ways, so it really starts to land and hit them. And then finally, you have to understand, how you're going to promote to them, how you're going to reach them. So you know who they are, you know where they're spending their time. How do you actually reach them? So kind of the channel strategy, the promotional strategy. And then finally, there's a frequency to it. You have to really kind of keep working at marketing. You can't just do one and done. You can't expect to hit people one time and then they're going to purchase your solution. So all those things kind of have to work together. Now that said, you don't have to spend months or years putting all this together. You can do this in a very lean, iterative manner, because you don't have to have it perfect because it's not going to be perfect. Regardless of how much research you do, the idea that you can just nail everything right out the gate is unrealistic. And you'll learn more by launching and seeing the results, launching early and then seeing the results. What does the data show us? What are we seeing? And then adjusting than all the time you'd spend trying to make it perfect. So, if you don't know your audience, it's really hard to reach them to begin with. You could spend lots of money on ads. You could spend a lot of time creating content and you're hitting the wrong people. They don't care. Then if you don't have your positioning correct, you can reach the right people. You can spend a lot of money on ads. You can spend a lot of time creating content, but you don't articulate why you are different and compelling enough for them to actually take action. If you don't do enough marketing, you might reach the right people with the right message, but they need to see it, 3 or 4 more times. They might not be ready to buy for 6 to 9 months. And then when that time comes, they've been seeing competitors the whole time. And that's the people that they remember. It's good to move fast and to iterate, not spend too long doing things. But I think there still is a level of patience that is required. I've seen so many campaigns that were killed before really they had the time to figure out, is this working or not? Because they're not immediately seeing the ROI, and they're not realizing that marketing takes time. It's a long process, especially these days where people are doing more research on their own and talking to people a lot less. It takes time before you start seeing the results.